Can you hear that? Surely you can. Okay, I cannot start filming with that going on. Welcome to a video on how I do my Sabbath. This is by no means a step-by-step how to Sabbath, because I most certainly am figuring that out with God week by week. But this is just going to be maybe even a series of me kind of taking you through how I've spent my how I've spent my Sabbath this week. I have been trying to incorporate a Sabbath over the last 2 years since really growing in my identity in God and growing in my understanding of His Word. And as a modern woman, as a mum of 2 little boys, as someone who serves in the local church, so therefore works a Sunday, a Sabbath has been hard to come by. And I might just show you how I manage to find my rest, even though it still will be pottering along, living life, but it's all slightly different to my normal days of life. I'll unpack that later in the video, but this is kind of how I have started to... I'm going to sneeze. I'm going to head to a cafe now before I have a appointment, and I'm going to read my Bible, and we're going to then chat about all these different scriptures that kind of talk about a Sabbath, talk about rest, so that I can give you a clear indication of what the Bible actually says about why we should do that.
I don't wanna call you later. You're tearing my heart up like it's paper, and somehow you turn to a stranger.
It is raining so much. There's been thunderstorms all morning, and so I'm sitting here by the fire because my house is like an ice box. I just went to the osteo. I had to change out my 9:30 gym class for a 9:30 osteo appointment because I've injured my rotator cuff, something. I've injured something in there, so that was really good. That felt so nice. And for some reason, I told him my whole life story. I'm not sure why I did that, but hey, it's done now. Let's talk about these scriptures that I just read through. For me, the reason that I try to slow down is because I live my life like boom, 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 boom. I'm either with my kids, I'm either serving in the church, I'm either like meeting up with people, talking things through about the Bible, talking things through about people's lives. Like I'm a very chatty, it's a very emotive life that I live, and that can be really heavy. I hope that rain is not really loud. I'll pull you in closer and then we can chat. In Mark 2, verse 27, it says, Jesus declared, "The Sabbath was made for man and not man for the Sabbath," which is indicating that the Sabbath is what serves us and our humanity and how we need rest, and it serves our relationship with God. It's not something that we are bound to be saved. It's not something we are bound to be good enough to God, but it actually is to serve our hearts, to serve our restoration and our replenishment in Him. And because I serve on a Sunday, I then do it on a Monday. And my main thing is that, like I was saying, I live a very emotive life. I carry a lot of things for a lot of people. And so I need to have a day where I do not talk. I am not meeting with anyone. I am not taking in input from many people's voices. So I try to stay off social media. I don't go like on Messenger. It's just a day that's strictly for podcasts, worship music, and prayer. If I'm not still, everything that I do starts to come out of my own strength, my own replenishments, my own energy, my own wisdom, and that's where things start to go wrong. Okay, in Genesis 2, we're talking about creation, and on the 7th day, after God created the heavens and the earth and all the things in it, and blah, 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 He rested. Then, in Exodus, in the 10 Commandments, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord your God. In it you shall do no work, blah, blah, blah. We obviously don't live under the law, so that's a key context to this whole thing. But we do live in a deficit of being separated from God. We're not in heaven, so we need his restoration. We need spiritual replenishment. We live in a world that asks a lot from us. We are on social media being drained by that. Like, there are just things, right? If you're a mum, you're serving your family, you're doing so much. Like, there are just things in this world that deplete us. And if you're too busy doing, you don't have a hobby, you don't have like a quiet space in your life, it's not sustainable. God's saying to us it's actually important. The Sabbath is for us. And it's really hard. Some weeks I'm great, some weeks it doesn't end up actually happening. And it doesn't mean my whole day I just lie here in front of the fire and that's my Sabbath. No. Sometimes I still go and do the groceries and I put a podcast on and I just walk around slowly and like take things at my own leisure. Sometimes I go to a cafe, other times I get back in bed, other times I sit down and I do a big brain dump, all the things going through my mind. Sometimes I sit in front of the TV on my knees and I worship for 2 hours. Other times I go for a walk and I pray for every single person I know. Like, there are key things that work for me that I have over time curated kind of a tool belt of like what I like to do, how I can connect with God, how I can decompress from my life. So my challenge to you would be allow yourself the space to actually figure out what works for you in your relationship with God. Now, please don't hear this the wrong way, but a nap is not this kind of rest that I'm talking about. A physical nap is great. It is a form of rest. It is a form of physical replenishment, but it's not spiritually replenishing you. So if all of your downtime is that you have a nap, I want to challenge you, try something else. Maybe you need to slow down in your life. Maybe you need to create more space for a Sabbath, but it's not spiritually filling you. I mean, he's God. Like, don't take my word for it that like this is the only way. That's not what I'm saying. God is God, but there's a reason he says these things woven through the Bible. There's a reason that we have the Sabbath. There's a reason that we have to actually stop ourselves enough to hear his voice. He is wisdom, not us. I would love to go and pick up a necklace that I've just had fixed from the mall, so I might do that and get some lunch, and I'm going to pick a podcast. I'm going to start listening to it now whilst we're going. Let's do it. Okay, so I'm going to order some lunch that I'll go pick up on the way to the mall. I've picked a podcast as well. Let me show you it. There is a new one from Stay True there that we're going to listen to. And then a little bit later on, I might listen to another one that's a little bit more geared towards parenting. Sorry, I need to switch hands because this hand can't go up high because of my random injury. But for now, I do feel like being a little bit on the go. I want to fill my tummy. I'm hungry. And I want to go check off this thing that I've been wanting to do for, honestly, like probably a year and a half. I've wanted to get this necklace repaired and I just haven't. So that's why I want to do that. And I think it's all about, in my perspective, it's all about how our heart is postured towards God. So for me, this might sound weird, but I'm saying like, God, let's go out together and run a few errands together. That's kind of how I'm doing my Sabbath. Okay, I secured the goods and they spelt my name right.
Teach, you can sing, you can do all kinds of amazing things.
Oh yeah, baby.
Go do it in them and operate in them, but you do it so well within your own home. If we believe in Jesus, then we believe he's Lord, which means we believe he's our master, which means that he is actually the one who sets the agenda, not us. And so if you really are a disciple of Jesus, that means that you don't do your will and say, Jesus, come with me. You actually say, no, I submit everything to you. And
Wow.
And Jesus, I want to follow you.
Wow.
Because think about
crazy is that I feel like a different person than who I was at the beginning of that podcast and who I am at the end of that podcast. It was so good. It was so good. And it's funny too, the Holy Spirit just totally delivered, because I was saying to you, I wanted to... By the way, sorry that fan is so noisy. It's been tipped over a bunch of times by the kids, so it now is kind of a loud fan. I was saying I wanted to listen to a parenting podcast today as well. And I just thought, oh my gosh, I got that delivered in this podcast, along with so many other amazing things, like completely amazing, so soul replenishing. And then I started journaling and chatting to God, and so that's kind of important too, is that even if you are getting stuff from a podcast, you got to then go and talk to God about it, and so that it's not just the podcast speaking to you, but it's the Holy Spirit speaking to you, and you're taking that back to God. I am actually really tired now. We had a bad night's rest, so I'm gonna go lie down in bed and chill for a bit. I have 1 hour till I need to start getting ready to go get Wolfie, and I was thinking, how am I going to continue my Sabbath when the kids come home? And Wolfie had already told me he wants to play slot cars, so I think what we'll do is we'll just play some worship music whilst we are there on the floor making the slot car machines, and then I'll probably read them a Bible story, or maybe I'll print off a little like home learning unit on a Bible story if they're up for it. I offer that to them kind of with anything, like if they're wanting to watch stuff to do with Steve Irwin, and then I'll be like, okay, well, should I download some stuff on snakes or whatever. I just like to do that, and that's a way to just kind of still be parenting, be fully out of my rest, but still my heart is positioned towards God. Can you see my tears? I'm just here cracking up, crying. Like in the Holy Spirit. I've never felt like before.
Is there room for us both on the same wave? Nothing breaks so clearly when there's love on the line. Gas from time.
He's like a game that's glitching.
Gas from time to someone that I don't even like. There's nothing left to fix if you don't want me to try. Oh, why would I when you were back?
Okay, I've just pulled some out for the kids, but I'm going to leave that in there for when Jesse gets home. He's working late tonight. Kids are in the bath. Dinner's there cooling down for them so that when they get out, it's ready. I'm going to finish up this vlog right here. When Jesse gets home, it'll be all kids, family time, and then Jesse and I hanging out time. So finish off the vlog here, but I hope they really enjoyed it. Let me know if you want it to be a series. I'd be happy to do that. Parts of today, obviously, where it is really just between me and God, but I will see you guys in the next one.